Oliver, how you going?
Yeah, not too bad yourself.
You look absolutely fantastic sitting in this thing.
Feels really good.
This creation of yours, I kind of see it as a dune buggy, a Super Mario Kart. Like, what exactly is this that you've designed?
Well, this is a crosskart called crosskart because it realistically can go on-road, off-road, you know, rocks, cross between sort of thing.
Yeah.
Crosskart. It works really well, goes really fast.
How fast?
My test drive, it's got 6 gears by the way. Third gear went 110 and that's as fast as I've taken it so far.
It's going to check, you do have your license, don't you?
I have my green piece and this was in a private property, so it's all good.
So that was 110 on dirt?
On dirt, and I was going around a corner at the time.
Wow.
Yes.
So you've really put it through its paces. It's not just a pretty picture, because it looks amazing. Jump out here and we'll chat about this thing. So it's a really fantastic looking vehicle, and it's also mechanically pretty high performance. Have you always wanted to design and build your own car?
I think my dream was to be a race car driver once upon a time.
I would never have guessed.
No, you wouldn't have. But yeah, so this is just a bit of a childhood dream, I suppose.
Yeah. The inspiration, apart from you wanting to build something like this your whole life, the inspiration for this actual vehicle, where did it come from?
I've always loved watching V8 Supercars Australia. My favourite driver is Cam Waters, Monster Energy. That's why I've got Monster Energy right there. Not that I'm sponsored, I'm not sponsored. I did want a race car look though.
Yes.
But Supercars, I've always loved it. Always loved the thrill of the racing. I've always wanted to be in Supercars. And this is the closest I've gotten so far. I made the gear stick like a supercar. So you pull the gear stick to go up the gears, and you push it back down to
up
go
and back
down the gears.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which that's how supercar works. That gives me the thrill of driving a supercar, which is awesome, and I love it.
Yeah. So was that one of the hardest parts of doing this? Was that actual gear action?
That was actually quite easy.
Oh really?
Honest.
Okay. What was the hardest part?
The hardest part,
because it's super complicated.
Yeah, it is really complicated. Probably getting the suspension.
Okay.
Probably the suspension. Getting the geometry right.
Yeah.
Both front and back. Working it so the wheels don't go off center when you're steering and when the wheel's going up and down. It was hard, but it looks good and it works.
Obviously, you've done your research.
Yes.
You're sort of living this kind of idea. But what other research did you do? Where else were you looking to get the know-how that you needed to do this?
So the guy called Kyle, he's an engineer in America. Crosskarts are big in America. He had a YouTube. I watched the YouTube video of him making his one, and I thought, that's the one.
Yeah.
So I bought the plans.
It's on YouTube. How hard could it be, right?
That's right. I bought the plans, which were decently cheap, and turns out they're all in American, and they're all to do with his bender, for his tube bender. And well, that didn't work for me. So I had to go based off a picture, basically, and some measurements. I did have to settle for thicker steel, so it's heavier than what it sort of should be. But if I was to build another one, I'd probably go a lot lighter.
You couldn't find the right steel, or it was just not available,
I couldn't exactly
or too expensive?
Source it.
Okay.
The local steel place, which at the time I worked at, only could get this one in, and this was the lightest they could get.
A project like this, would have lots of hurdles along the way.
Yes.
So getting the right steel was one of them, it sounds like. What else popped up as a problem that you had to solve?
The biggest problem when I first test drove it.
Right.
The chain sprocket.
Yeah.
The tension.
That's
of
over
the chain,
here, isn't it?
That's over there.
Yeah, in the back here.
It was making a very big noise, like a very clunky noise, because I had a different tensioner on it. That was probably the main issue. The chain was skipping gears, which was not good.
Yeah.
When you're putting power down, it's skipping gears because it'll wear it all out really quickly. So I had to obviously work that. I had to do a bit of research, and I ended up getting, instead of a rubber sort of tensioner, I got a cog, a sprocket, another sprocket to tension the chain. And that's on there now. It works really well. It's really quiet, and it's not skipping gears.
Yeah, right.
So that's probably the biggest issue that came in the whole project, really.
So it's one of those moments where you're problem solving along the way. Prototyping, testing, problem solving, keep going, redesign, do the next version, yeah?
Yes.
What other unique features are here that are your invention?
Well, I wouldn't say my invention,
All right. Your genius then, how about that?
My sort of idea.
Yeah.
Instead of the typical buggy or crosskart design, they mostly have the radiator sitting behind the head. And that obviously doesn't get airflow for a start, and it's right near your head.
Yeah, right.
And radiators are hot, and they can explode realistically anytime if it gets really, really hot. It's not safe. So I've put the radiators, I've got two twin radiators, one on either side.
Right.
Down here, sitting down there, and
in behind this panel.
In behind that panel.
Yeah.
And it gets air from the side through that grill there.
Of course, yeah.
And that sits the radiators behind and below where you're sitting.
Yeah.
So if something even does happen, there's no really danger to it.
Yeah.
And it creates more airflow too.
Safety must have been a big concern for you.
Yes.
Like you're running around in this thing at 110, at least on a paddock. So those safety concerns must have been something to take very, very seriously, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah. How did that change your thinking at all?
I was originally going to put the wheels in narrower. That's one thing.
Yeah.
So we put it out a bit wider because I didn't want it to tip.
Bit more stability. What is your favorite, I guess, success? Because there's a lot of things that have gone right in doing this. Yes. I know it took a long time. You worked really hard on this and you gave it everything. But if you stand back now and look at it, you think the thing that I'm proudest of is, what would it be?
I think, to be honest, the whole thing. When I put the last panel on, when I was done, after finishing the panels, that was goosebumps.
Yeah.
That was
Bit of a
crazy
step
good.
back and go, yep.
Yeah, it's come to realization that I'm done. It's finished, after all this time.
Yeah.
But if I had to pinpoint it down to one specific thing, probably the whole engine sort of area.
All of the mechanics.
Yeah, the mechanical sort of area of it. The whole rear end, realistically. Yeah.
This whole thing, I mean, all of this work, all of this thinking, all of this design, excuse the pun, but where does this thing take you from here?
I'd hope it takes me further than just being a mechanic.
Yeah. You're a mechanic now?
I am a mechanic now. I'm first year apprentice. Once I've done mechanics there, I would look to go to Supercars. Like I said before, Supercars is my dream to be there in any aspect. Even if I'm just changing the wheels, that's my dream because I want to be there.
If you were to sort of give some advice to other students who are considering doing a project like this, both on the positive and the negative side, what to watch out for, but what is it that sort of like kept you going?
Like learn from everything you can.
Yeah.
If somebody criticizes you, learn from that.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people criticize me for welds and stuff, and I worked at that, and I'm pretty alright now.
Yeah, okay. You got a thick skin now.
I got a thicker skin. Not thick, but yeah, thicker.
What I hear you saying is there's a kind of a discipline that you developed for yourself.
Yes, that's probably
about sticking to it, staying the course, like getting in there for the long haul.
Yes.
Yeah? That sounds like good advice for anyone thinking about a project like this.
Yeah, discipline is a big thing.
Yeah. And you came up with your own version of that.
That's right. I didn't think I had much discipline in me, but I guess discipline helps heaps because if you don't have discipline, then you're not going to get it done. You're just going to procrastinate or say I'll do it later or not do it at all. If you've got discipline that you're going to tell yourself I'm doing 3 hours on it this afternoon after school or at school, that just helps heaps.
Yeah.
Makes you want to get it done.
If there's one thing that you could teach us all that you've learnt from doing this project, what might that be?
Anything is possible.
Yeah.
If you put your mind to it.
Yeah.
I guess that could be a lesson you could take out of this, because
Perfect.
2 years ago today, I didn't have anything. This was empty. This was not here.
Yeah.
Now it's here. So anything is possible if you put your mind to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're standing here, front and center, the hero shot and the shape exhibition here at
That's
UTS.
right. Yeah.
Bravo. Mate, fantastic work. Yeah.
Thank you.